This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for July 5, 2023. And in the news this afternoon, Daniel Rowe knew her killer, police believe. Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson says investigators believe 8-year-old Daniel Rowe was abducted and murdered by someone known to her. Daniel was taken from Brayton Primary and Infant School in Portmore, St. Catherine on June 8 and found seriously wounded in St. Andrew. She later died of her injuries. Commissioner Anderson said Daniel's murder has highlighted the issue of safety of Jamaica's children. He said investigators are still searching for Daniel's killer.
The recent murder of Daniel Rowe, that tragedy on June 8th, has highlighted the issue of the safety of our children. Let me assure you that this case is a high priority for us as we continue the investigations. We still believe the perpetrator was known to Daniel, and once again ask the public for their assistance in identifying the person. This year, in the 4 instances where children 12 and under were killed, the perpetrators were known to the victims and in positions of trust. Let me just say that providing this fact is by no means intended to diminish the significance of each tragic loss, because no child should be murdered. However, in spite of these tragedies, from our perspective as a society, we generally still protect our children.
Dead fish not unexpected after restocking exercise. Following controversy around who was responsible for the restocking of the Rio Cobre, fishermen who ply their trade in the river are now expressing concern about the floating dead fish from the tilapia stock that was deposited at one of 3 spots on Friday. Fisherfolk who spoke with the news alluded to seeing fry and the fingerling floating in the river on Saturday at one of the spots where deposits were made one day before. Them come Friday and put the fish in the water, and even before they left the fish, them start float up on the water. Me even take up 2 plastic kegs and feed my dogs, said Kevin Morrison, who plies his trade in the river. Morrison said he believes the spot known as a Pleasant Hill was not the ideal place to deposit the stock of fry and fingerling because it was not the main river source. 2 other fishermen interviewed gave similar accounts. Meanwhile, Zara Oliphant, Principal Director of the Fisheries Compliance, Licensing and Statistics Division, commenting on the report, was mindful that some of the fry and fingerling from the stock would not survive. Mortality would have been expected, but to what extent we are now trying to determine. We have received the report and it has been referred to the relevant personnel for analysis, Oliphant told the news. She insisted that no official percentage of possibly mortality was given out on Friday at the restocking exercise because they could not have known. The restocking exercise was supervised by bauxite company UC Rosal, which was ordered by the National Environment and the Planning Agency to finance the restocking of the Rio Cobre after the environmental watchdog found them culpable after the 2022 contamination of the river that resulted in a huge fish kill. UC Rosal, which is currently fighting in a 2019 negligence case that contributed to similar fish kill up until Friday when the company played the supervisory role, has failed to comply with NEPA's order. The bauxite company has denied the charges in the St. Catherine Parish Court, where lawyers representing the entity have offered a no-case submission that lawyers representing NEPA have rebutted. The judge is expected to hand down her ruling on September 15. In the meantime, 2 other cases where UC Rosal was deemed responsible for causing chemical spills that totally wiped out the fish stock in the Rio Cobre, one in October of 2021 and the other in July 2022, both displacing several fishermen, are yet to be mentioned in court. Kesonard Gordon, president of Friends of the Rio Cobre, is demanding that all the agencies involved in the Rio Cobre dilemma be brought to the table with the affected residents to discuss the way forward. He criticized the NEPA for not making public whether a test was done prior to the restocking exercise and insisted that tests conducted by the agency in May, which have not been made public, be released to the Jamaican people. Police report reduction in major crimes for January to June. Despite a recent surge in gang violence in the corporate area and the sections of Western Jamaica, Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson says the High Command is seeing a reduction in major crimes for the first half of the year. The High Command recently advised the government to declare states of public emergency in St. James and Westmoreland following a spike in murders and shootings. Curfews have also been imposed in sections of the Kingston Western Police Division and the St. Andrews South Division following a flare-up of deadly gang conflicts. But speaking Tuesday at a Jamaica Constabulary Force press briefing, Commissioner Anderson said the police are making progress in targeting gangs and their networks.
We are still intercepting known gunmen and have come head-on with some of Jamaica's most wanted persons, some of who refused the option of peaceful surrender and hence met their demise. The seizure of the 370 illegal guns for the first 6 months of the year and the arrest and charge of 565 persons under the new firearms legislation, 490 of whom were charged for being in possession of a prohibited weapon, is a reflection of the relentless efforts of our police officers in this regard. With respect to gangs, we continue our thrust to disrupt and dismantle them. We await the sentencing of members of the Andre Blackman-Bryan-led gang, following the conclusion of the trial where Bryan and 14 gangsters were convicted of 35 offenses. At the half-year mark, overall, major crimes were down by 16% when compared to the similar period last year. Murders were down by 13% or 94 less. Shootings were down by 12% or 71 less. Rapes were down by 24% or 63 less. And robberies were down by 23% or 111 less. Break-ins were down 12% or 62 less. We found that gang conflicts still account for the highest proportion at 67% of the murders. Interpersonal conflicts accounted for 20%, whilst 5% occurred in the furtherance of other criminal acts, and 8% are still being determined.
Kingston Higgler facing multiple charges after attempting to intimidate a court witness. A 41-year-old Higgler of Shooters Hill Road in Kingston was charged with burglary, assault at common law, and assault occasioning bodily harm after breaking into a woman's house and threatening to kill her. According to reports from the Elletstone Road Police on May 17, Denny Groves held a knife to a woman's throat and threatened to harm her if she didn't agree to compromise a court case. A tussle ensued during which Groves allegedly punched the woman in her face. The woman reported the matter to the police and an investigation was subsequently launched. Groves was arrested on Monday, June 26 and charged on Friday, June 30. She is set to appear in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court on Monday, July 10. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.